Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. We are back. My name is Noe Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit, and joining me every week is my brother Pedro. Hola, hola.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Pedro, Creative Tech here at Adafruit, and every week we're here to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right. This is a show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. It's episode 530. We're streaming live on all the usual networks: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and X. And we're hanging out in the Adafruit Discord server. If you'd like to join us throughout the show, you can drop us a chat comment on any of those social platforms, but also, of course, Discord. We are back this week. We are catching up on our current projects, getting ready to publish some learn guides. We're going to share our latest updates to the projects. We got a coupon code. We have a time lapse. We have a handful of community makes. Maybe there's just some time for shop talk. I think it's kind of packed this week, so I'm just going to jump into adafruit.com/free to find out what are the deals this week. So if folks want to spend certain amounts of money, they're going to get free perks. Starting off with orders at $99 or more, they're going to get a free PCB coaster with that golden Adafruit logo. If your order goes beyond that at $149, you're going to get that coaster plus an Adafruit KB2040, lovely RP2040 based microcontroller. And at the top tier at $199, you get the controller, you get the coaster, and free UPS ground shipping for contiguous US only. And while you're at checkout, good for the next 24 hours is our coupon code. This week, it's back to back. So back to back is the coupon code. It'll get you 10% off your order. Good for the next 24 hours. Works on anything that's in the stock, in stock in the shop. So please utilize that coupon code if you want to put an order in today. We got a lot of stuff back in stock, which is great to see. So shout out to the Adafruit team, internal folks getting all the kits and receivings and getting all those things done. All right. Just a programming note. Yeah, we're doing the show. I might have to leave at some point for 5 minutes or so because live in an apartment and we got an annual inspection happening. So I will have to kind of hide for like 5 minutes or so. We don't know when. We just know it's happening during the show, and it's been happening for the past 4 years. So that's just a quick programming note. But yeah, should we go back to Discord? What do we want to do here?
I am posting.
I know it's summertime. Folks are coming off. We just came back from a quick break. We took the week off and just to recharge and do some sort of we did kind of like a staycation where we went to some nearby cities, went to Portland in Maine, went to, of course, Boston, and Newport, which is in Rhode Island, which is our like neighboring state.
It feels like I have not had time off.
Yeah, so you got
working. I combine the camping with the future project that we're working on here, this compass. So it was
great
all project
tie-in.
It's all melted together.
Yeah.
Great timing too, with having everything always be work and what is it? Work and pleasure at the same time.
Work and play at the same time. Yeah.
So
it's really cool to be doing camp activities for the summer camp with the kids, but then also have a focused project that kind of enriches that experience, I think. Yeah. So why don't we go into yours? Because I'm feeling that the inspection is going to happen soon. So why don't you kick it off with your prototype?
Now let me move over this Enderman real quick. This week we take a look at the UI for the Minecraft inspired compass. We're showing this off before we left. It had the calibration walkthrough. This week we have the full UI operating, and we have a ton of features packed in here. First off, shout outs to Todd Bott, who had the roto zoom that we're using for the needle animation. You can see here it has some smoothing, so it has like easing and for each turn, like
very smooth.
Has a nice little smooth, and then it eases in. to where the rotation is. And then we have a couple different modes for this. So we have the normal compass mode, as well as we have marine mode, which north will always point, or the needle will always point north, like so. So it doesn't matter where you're pointing. It'll still tell you in the footer too where you're looking at.
Oh,
so this,
very nice.
This is marine mode off. Sorry.
Okay.
So wherever you're pointed to, it'll show like right over there is west. And then if you go into marine mode, that will show the needle constantly pointing to the north, which is how the needles usually work. I wanted to have both modes on because I kept getting confused, and then we turn that on and off for the kids.
That's handy. All right, I'll be right back.
Yep, I shall continue talking. And we go back into the menu. Even the menu is super clean and polished. You have your targets that will arm or highlight. So tapping on it isn't going to automatically activate it. You'll highlight it first. So depending on what option you want to go on, you'll have to tap on it to highlight it and then tap again to activate. So what we just did there was the units. So you can switch between the imperial freedom units, miles, or kilometers, meters. So you can go through there. The other cool thing for compasses, I used Claude Opus 4.8 for this, and it suggested that we have the ability to adjust offsets with the magnetic declination. So you can go in here and adjust that based on the location that you're at. And then we even have a nice little help menu that can show you what your magnetic declination setting would be. So here in Florida, we're at the 5 degrees west. Noah, you would have to set yours to 15 degrees west, I think, somewhere around there. So you can set all those up. And then the way we have this functioning in the UI itself is when we click on the declination on the left, lowers it, on the right, increases your degrees from east to west. So you can edit that as the offset for your compass. And I think that's a cool differentiator from all of the other compass projects that we have. We can adjust your offsets with that. And then you also have other cool things like your rotation. So if you want to rotate your screen, have it upside down like that, you can have that as well. And then you have your scrollable on here. In there like that. And then you can also do your recalibration live on the device, so you don't have to input any numbers. You don't have to open it up on your computer. You can go ahead and recalibrate that. Of course, it has a are you sure? Oh, it's not showing up. It says sure. Are you sure? It's in black. I need to go back in and tell Claude to make it in white. You can barely see it there. It says sure. So you can go back in there. And then we showed that off last week. I don't want to recalibrate the screen because you have to do the whole song and dance of rotating it around and doing the tilting and then doing like the figure 8. We have a nice UI that walks you through each step. The walkthrough is all Minecraft themed. So it's telling you to, craft your compass. And right at the end, it does the saving to the device itself. It's using the boot.py file to enable the system to write to itself. When you want to write on the computer, you hold down the button down here while it's loading onto the computer to enable writability on the computer. So we have that whole workflow going again. Super cool. The case design too is nicely compact. So we have a little GPS module. We have the Feather RP2350. And then we have the accelerometer, the gyro, and then a battery monitor. So when you plug this in, you can see the battery charge. And then some other UI elements is you can adjust the theme by just holding down the button on there. The way that you do waypoint saves is you click and hold, and then it'll ask you to save this location, and then it'll pop up a canned list of location names. So we don't have to have like a keyboard, so you can type in your location name. So you just tap on one to save the location. And then when you go into waypoint mode, that's what that looks like here. It'll navigate to the location that you select from the saved files. And then can't demo it here because the GPS only works outdoors. There's all this interference inside, so it does not work inside. But outside, here's a list of some of the locations that we saved while we were at camp. We have a nice little scrollable display here. Oh, and then use this pen so my finger isn't obscuring the UI. So we can
it's resistive, right? There we go.
Yeah, so this is a resistive display, and you can go here and see your list of saved locations. You can also delete locations. So you have a little trash icon here, and then you can just load it like that. It'll load up with the little red icon to have you tap again to confirm if you want to delete. So we have that going on. Then when you highlight, you'll do the same highlight target or arm, and then select again to click on the next thing or to activate where you are. So this will guide us to the outpost. It'll tell you right there if it doesn't have a location fix, GPS acquisition fix, it'll tell you that it's still looking for satellites.
Cool.
How many satellites are it's connected to right now? 0, because we're indoors. Now let me switch back to the white theme, since dark works perfect when it's dark out or when you're in the shade. But of course, in the bright sunlight, we're going to need the lighter theme. The other thing that we're using for this project is an anti-glare film display that's usually added to an iPad. So we have the matte anti-glare with no adhesion on here. It's only on the corners right here. So if we have time, or next week, we'll take this apart and take a look at how everything is nicely mounted inside. We have a 2,500 milliamp hour battery, so it lasts about like 2 days of being outdoors. So we have some nice power efficiency in here and longevity for the battery, which you can recharge with the USB-C here on the side. And then a little bit of chunk to it, but not so much. It still fits in the kids' hands when they were playing around and navigating around the campsite. So that is the GPS compass, inspired by Minecraft. We have some nice dual color, little blocky look to it as well. And yeah, that is the project. Super proud of it.
Cool.
Mounted. Yeah. Lots of cool tricks that I've not done before. And in terms of the case design, the colors, and then of course all the UI and the UX for navigating the menus and having the device save the settings for you. It's just a JSON file that it's saving the locations as. So we're able to pop those into Google Maps, and those all load up perfectly where we drop the pins at for the waypoints. So we're able to go back, delete those, add your own, change the name. Yeah, lots of really cool features.
Oh, there it is. I was about to say, like, are we in the Bermuda Triangle? Because it's just like
no, it's because it's the waypoint mode. Yeah, it's the waypoint mode. No, this loads up really fast.
Yeah. I think I heard you saying the GPS is outdoor only, and
Yeah, I was thinking about adding the FeatherWing GPS, which would work indoors, but that would increase the size.
Of course it would. Yeah, it's a whole new board.
So we'll take a look at it next week, but everything is nice and modular since we're all using stemma connections for all the boards. So everything just unplugs. It mounts to a frame around the display itself. And then even the way that the slide switch is connected to the socket jumpers. So that's not even kind of soldered together. It's just like plugged in. That fits perfectly. And then we're using the stemma tactile push button here for your action button. And what else can I talk about? So many cool things.
Yeah. Yeah. Fully featured. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We'll look at it next week.
If we have time, I have my drill right here, ready to go.
There you go. Yeah. All right. And if anyone has any questions, drop us a line in any of the channels. And I threw a couple of links while you were doing the demo of the main products. Of course, the
Nice.
Feather RP2350 with 8 megabytes of SRAM. We got the 3.5-inch TFT FeatherWing V2. And of course, the GPS module, the PA1010D. And there's some more, but, you know, those are the main ones, I think.
Yes. And the boards too, like the battery monitor, the max, whatever.
That's right.
Fuel gauge. Yeah. Optional. You don't have to have it. Even the GPS module, if you just want to have a compass, you don't have to have that as well. The software will just skip those components and it'll load right into your compass.
Very good. All right. Are you ready for some 90s inspired handheld gaming devices?
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the project I've been working on now. It's, of course, it's a remake of Inspired by Bop It, which is a game that came out in the mid-90s. It's a kind of a puzzle game, kind of like Simon. You might remember it. So I did a couple of aesthetic design updates. I really went all out with like the funky 90 color pops. Yeah, so I did this like squiggle thing on the handle. We added some grips on the side. We changed up some of the colors here. So all of the controls have this nice kind of minted pastel green. So we have a push button, we have a slider, we have the toggle switch for flip it, added a little triangle there just to kind of give some sort of color accent to the inputs. And then, of course, you have the wheel, which is really my favorite piece of this. There are neodymium magnets that are embedded into the ball bearing here. And then inside the enclosure is a Hall effect sensor, which can detect when a magnet is nearby, which we can use to trigger the game. So we reached out to a couple folks. Dan Q on the Adafruit team does a lot of the music for our videos. And so we asked Dan Q to make some sound effects and some music. So we got those loaded up on here. So we turn it on with the switch down here. Of course, it's running from the Propmaker Feather RP2040. So it has built-in battery charging. It's running CircuitPython code. This is a collab project, of course, with Liz Clark, who did the code. So let's just go ahead and turn it on, and we'll just do like a minute of gameplay. So it's a start. And then to start the game, you actually use the push button, which is a chalk key switch. So you got to push it, spin it. It's using the accelerometer for shaking. Of course, this is the Hall effect sensor with the embedded magnets. Just the chalk key switch. The music now increases speed as you advance in the game, just like the original Bop It game. And every 5 points, it increases in speed. Of course, the NeoPixel stick is being used as the timer. So if it reaches all the way here and the time is out and you haven't pushed anything, then you lose the game. If you input the wrong control, you also lose the game, just like Bop It. Getting faster there. Oh, it's getting really fast. Almost missed that. there is no pause in the game, so you kind of have to just keep playing until you lose. And I'm just gonna like do a wrong thing here. So I flipped it. I was supposed to push it. It says game over, and then it tells you what your score is. So your total score. Mine was 39. The NeoPixels turned red, let you know the game is over. It scrolls it twice, and then it loops back to the main start mode, so then you can play another game. Super happy with the sound effects, the gameplay, the enclosure design, of course. It all really comes to life with the sound effects. So big shout out to Dan Q. Sorry, Dan Q. A lot of fun. Yeah, I mainly have the Learn Guide assembly is pretty much all put together. We're just waiting on some internal folks to review it, and then that gives me time to make the kind of video trailer that will showcase and highlight all the different features and how you build it and stuff. I think building it was just as fun as playing it, so that was really cool to me, and I think it's a really fun take. You know, I've always wanted to make like a sci-fi prop that kind of had this interesting, unique look, but then also making it into a gaming device, I think is super cool. And this idea has been cooking in my head for a little bit. And shout out to Liz for you know, bringing up the Bop It, because she played it when she was a kid. I never played it, but it's a super fun concept. And yeah, I think the enclosure is kind of fun. And I'm, again, really happy with the wheel here for spinning. Again, the Hall effect sensor, really cool kind of mechanism here. Just a ball bearing with these neodymium magnets that stick onto the side, and then the Hall effect sensor is embedded in there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that is Bop It. Well, actually, Prop It. That's what we're calling it. Yeah.
Yeah, it really nailed the aesthetic there, and it looks super cool with the colors.
Yeah, there's lots of fun colors these days for filaments, and these are from, of course, our favorite. I can safely say they're our favorite filament manufacturer, Propmaker, the Polychroma and the PLR Pro. They have some really stellar colors. But yeah, all of this is pretty much Propmaker. Yeah, lots of little fun details like this. The little grips, little triangles, and the colors all really make it fun and pop. So that's super cool. So there you go. Of course, we'll have all the CAD files, code, circuit diagram, assembly instructions, all that stuff will be available for folks. And even if you want to like just take some inspirations from the enclosure design or the code, that's all there for folks. Yeah. Good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Any questions or anything? Oh, thanks for the links. That's good. That's good. Yep. Let's see some other things. I got a nice cylindrical battery, the 2200 milliamp battery. I haven't had to charge it yet, so that's really nice. Wow, man. You know, the Feather has built-in USB charging, so if you want to charge it up, you just plug it in and start charging.
Yes.
You know, the LED display is the alphanumeric display, 14 segment. It connects via STEMMA QT, so it's plug and play for the Feather, which is nice. The Hall effect sensor actually soldered the wired connection straight to the servo pins, which allowed just easier ground and signal and voltage. That's basically what you need for like potentiometer. In this case, it's a Hall effect sensor, but also it's, you know, a good pin port for a servo, but it doesn't have to be a servo. So I thought that was interesting. The little mini speaker worked out pretty well. Just a regular toggle switch. This is the 35 millimeter slider and the chalk switch. What was interesting, I originally thought it'd be difficult to solder these wired connections because these things kind of have to be, you know, mounted and then you solder it, which is okay. But because they're mounted from the top, you can actually take this off, unscrew this, and then remove it. And then, interestingly enough, the chalk key switch can be angled so you can actually push it through the hole. It's just a square cutout, so you're not permanently fixed to the top half of the enclosure, which is nice. You know, I've had those projects before where you're like, once you panel mount it, you're stuck. But in this case, they worked out where components are mounted from the bottom, or rather from the top, because you have these two M2 screws and you have this hex nut. But it's nice that you can just like, angle the Schottky switch and push it out, because I did have to disassemble it a few times, and the disassembly is not too tricky. There are some snap fit bits, like this kind of hood for the alphanumeric display. It snap fits into this back here, but most of it has these screws which are countersunk. I just wanted to go with screws so it's a more tight fit. So if it ever falls out of your hand and falls on the floor, I think it'll still survive, and it won't just crack open. So it's really secured nice. It's got good weight to it too. It definitely feels like a device. It's not light, and I think folks will have a lot of fun if they want to build one for themselves or as a gift. They'll have fun building it, which I'm happy about. And it's very thorough. We do very thorough guides here, so do it the Adafruit way. Yeah.
It says inspiration for the design.
Yeah. So my inspiration came from just a bunch of different sci-fi props that I have been gathering. I have a Pinterest board called like sci-fi stuff, and I just look for all sorts of sci-fi things, renders. So there was this particular like sci-fi prop that was like a radar, like a handheld radar, that had a bunch of like controls on it, and I think that kind of gave me the idea to do like this kind of handheld thing that has like a handle, and there was like a screen near it, and then like they had like a volume knob that was like on the offset of it. So I kind of smashed together a couple of different sci-fi prop renders and came up with this. I spent a lot of time in CAD rearranging the components, and then I came up with this idea where you would have these three main things in one spot, and then you would have the spin kind of off to the side. And the choice for the alphanumeric display was actually Liz's idea, and I'm glad she came with that, because originally I was going to do like a full color TFT with a menu system and colored graphics and stuff. But I think this kind of has this like almost like a retro aesthetic where it's a very simple characters and numbers, and we carry these in different colors, and I think the yellow one really popped out. We have green, blue, red, and I think yellow. But yeah, that's where my design inspiration came from. Because yeah, Brent, you're probably like, well, the Bop It game is like completely different, like a stick,
like a sphere, right?
It's a weird stick with a sphere and like I don't like the look of it, but I really like the idea, right?
The cylinder part.
Yeah, there was another game in the 90s too. Do you remember this one? It was called Brain Warp. Brain Warp is another one that came out in 96. There's Lights Out, which came out in 95. And then, of course, Simon, which came out in the earlier 90s. So they all kind of share the same DNA of these like kind of puzzle turn-by-turn kind of games where you have to match up the prompt. But yeah, I think the original Bop It game was just kind of like an audio telling you to bop it or spin it or flick it or whatever it was. Yeah. But yeah, combination of a couple things, and just spending a lot of time rearranging the components in a way that I thought made sense. But yeah, very fun. Thank you, Brent, for that one. That was a good one. Yeah.
And then Ian in the Discord posted the reference to the Bop It. I swear there was a different version too that was like all
weirder. Not that. I bet.
Whoops.
Yeah, there's a couple of different Bop Its. Yeah, look at the Bop It. It's a stick with a big like twisty knob and a big button that you push it on. Yeah, there's like, I think Bop It Extreme was more like a steering wheel. Yeah, these are really out there outlandish designs. I really wanted something that like looked good, felt like a sci-fi prop, but like think about where do you put the bot? Like this thing just stands up and you can put it away on your desk or on your shelf or something. And that I just wanted to be like a nice handheld thing. It could be operated with one hand if you're like clever. You could use your finger to spin it and do this and that. But when I'm like focused, I'm holding it like this, and I'm like moving, like I'm just like, right. And you got to be careful, because if you're like dancing with it, then you accidentally shake it. But you can control the sensitivity. I think we dialed in the sensitivity for the accelerometer pretty good. So you just kind of shake it once or twice like that, and it activates it. What else? Yeah, no support material, of course, for anything. It all kind of is all pieces and stuff. You just assemble together. No glue needed. Just those screws and the magnets for the Hall effect sensor. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So hopefully next week I'll be able to come out with a video, and I can hold on to the guide once it gets reviewed by some folks, and then we can get it out there. But the code is out there on GitHub if folks want it, and I'll throw up the CAD files on various sites. But of course, it'll also be hosted locally, or not locally, but on the Adafruit Learn system with all the sound effects. Another cool thing about it, while we're on it, one of the things that Liz and I didn't know about was the ability to do audio speed. So you can manipulate the speed of a wave file with a slider, or in this case, as every 5 points, the song increases, but the timer also increases too, which is really cool, and it really adds challenge to it. So as you're advancing in the game, it gets the timer gets shorter, and the song increases, and the anxiety levels like increase, which really adds that like challenging game loop. Just super cool. Let's see what else. So that is cool. So that actually inspires me to do like another kind of audio gadget where you would like record, because now we have audio, I2S audio in CircuitPython. So that means we can record your voice, and now you can start using these controls, and now we have chorus, flanger, echo, reverb in CircuitPython. So we're gonna be able to do some really fun, think like 90s Talk Boy.
I was about to say that.
I'm gonna try to do a Talk Boy where you talk into the thing.
That's cool.
And then you can slow down the audio, roll, maybe reverse it. That'd be so dope, right? So I'm getting really inspired by all these like, you grew up on these super cool niche like Tiger electronic gadgets, and now we can like make them ourselves, make a crazy modern spin on it. So I think this might be the first entry into like a whole umbrella of like remakes, all done with CircuitPython.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of people remake their own Tamagotchis. We're seeing a whole surge of like cyberdecks and like companion robot things, little like kind of Tamagotchi faces and stuff. So I think this all kind of goes into that. Cool. Good stuff. Yep. There's some CAD parts if folks want to get some models of feather boards or stemma breakouts. Very good.
Oh yeah, and the GitHub link where the projects live.
Yeah, the code.
Code.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Quite a few in there.
I use the search.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Don't forget, folks, if you want to pick up anything to build your own 90s inspired gadgets back to back, we'll get you 10% off. Or maybe you want to build the GPS, device for your camping activities. Back to back, we'll get you 10% off. Pretty good. All right. I'm going to do a quick shop talk kind of thing real quick. Now coming soon is our enclosure for the Propmaker feather. How about that? Very nice. So this is going to be $5. It's a 3-piece design. It's just a nice little enclosure for your feather. It's a little bit different. You don't need any screws. It's got these tabs that you snap the board into. There's a frame that snap fits over that, and then a topper that has the little buttons, button pushers for the boot and the reset button, and also a cutout for the stemma QT and the screw block terminal on the Feather Propmaker RP2040. I think there's a typo here. This is not a FeatherWing. Oops. Yeah, it's not out yet, but you know, nice photos. Thanks to the new products team for putting this all together. And you can actually download the STL files right now if you want, and you can 3D print them. They will print on a resin printer or a FDM printer.
Yes. The tolerances are pretty similar.
They really are, aren't they? Yeah.
At least with the bamboo ones.
Yeah, at least with the bamboo printers, yeah. I think the Prusa ones too, the newer ones.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's coming up. And then I think our case went live last week for the for this guy. Yeah. We might have showed it 2 weeks ago, but shout out to Brent for the idea on this one. We needed a case for the terminal block BFF. So now you can enclose that, but you still have access to the second row of header pins, and then of course the flathead screws on the double terminal blocks. You even have room for a hole for the stemma QT port and the USB-C port on your QT Py. Yeah, and it has good what do you call it, diffusion for the LED that's on board your QT Py.
That's why it looks so perfect in that photo.
Yeah. Very good. All right. And we just add to the. Do we have like a whole slew of enclosures that we've done over the years? Yep, all sorts of enclosures. Very good. Very good. Okay. Do we want to do a time lapse?
Yeah.
Time lapse in this week.
Yeah, let's step into this week's Community Makes for Timelapse Tuesday. This week it is another Minecraft themed project. This time it is the Enderman. I was a little worried of printing this one because of all the little tiny parts. Usually the tolerances for these don't always fit as well. Luckily, this one did. And there's a couple of different Endermans you can print, and I think this articulating one had the most set of articulated parts with rotating joints on his shoulder and his legs, as well as his abdomen and his hips. And then, of course, the cool part that Declan wanted was the mouth being able to move up and down. So you can do his little
that's awesome. That's very cool. I didn't notice that.
And then the little elbow, and then the shoulder rotates, as well as his legs down here. They bend and rotate, along with his little feet.
What? That's so cool.
Yeah, so there's so much little flexibility. Armature. Yeah, it's like a little armature guy.
That's cool.
The pieces.
Oh, he still pops up. Okay.
Yeah, with these little hooks that snap into place like that, and then there's some ball sockets. The guide or the profile has a whole little PDF for assembly because of how many different parts there are. All the little which ball joint goes where for like the abdomen and then the hips. So all of that is listed there. So you definitely got to follow that. I tried to follow it or to assemble them without it, and I couldn't figure out which part was which. So definitely check that out.
That's cool. Let's make him do a T-pose. Let's see the T-pose.
Yeah, right. And he does have the ability to stand on his own. I just gotta get the weight balanced.
Okay. Very cool.
It's trying to take since they're luckily it lined up with that Minecraft announcement for the
that's right. Yeah.
So I was like, oh crap. Everything all matches with the even last week's when we weren't here, the Ender Dragon. And then of course with the compass.
Ender Dragon.
yeah, you can write it.
That's so cool. Yeah. Let's take a look at the profile for the model. It was posted up by PeWu on MakerWorld as a free model. There's an AMS version and a no AMS version. There's some photos of it. Got those purple eyes, very creepy. And there's the kit or the PDF assembly guide, which is super nice to see. It's a part of the documentation.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the PDF. Open that up. It's nicely, like the graphics on it.
Oh, that's nice. Let's view it.
It's nicely laid out. Like
this is nice. This is like a legit Lego booklet assembly.
Yeah, it is like Lego.
That is so nice. Look how themed it is.
Mm-hmm. Like it's
very cool.
All socket. Like look at the difference between the neck and the head one. This is how you tell them apart. Like use a little cloth to push in the joint so you don't get hurt. So it's very thorough.
That is very thorough and just a nice sight on the eyes too.
Yeah. Makes me wish that our guides would load. I don't know, like dynamically or how that would work out to have it.
Some guides would work
like this. Nah, man, this is like.
I would have.
This is beautiful.
I tend to do like 80 to 100 assembly photos.
That's what I'm saying. Like it would have
100 steps.
Put them all into one page. No, but if it's assembling it all into one page, those 100 can turn into 25 pages.
Yeah.
And then the way that it's calling things out like important. Here's the ball socket for the arms, legs.
Very print friendly.
It's like a real exactly. Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Our guides could be assembled in a different format without us having to go in there like the parts list. This is freaking beautiful.
It's very cool.
The background.
Definitely check it out if you want to print one. You are in good hands with the documentation. It looks like a lot of people have been posting notes.
Definitely want to make sure that your bed is clean.
Of course.
Clean that out. I used a completely brand new bed, the smooth PEI, to print this out. So all those tiny little parts stayed in place. I didn't want to use the brims. It's always a pain, especially with they're tiny little parts. So having to pluck all those brims off would definitely be a pain.
Yeah, that reminds me about AMS and stuff. With this project, I only have one. The front cover is an AMS. There's 3 colors here, but I made sure to make a version that's a single color version so that the only thing you print separately is a diffuser here. So this is what diffuses the NeoPixel that's embedded in there, and you'll just pop it in into the cutout here, and then this will just be one solid color. But of course you could go in there and either paint it yourself or add a decal or something if you want to have a different color there. But I do have a single color version of this because I know some folks don't have an AMS, and that's totally fine. I know we didn't for the longest time.
Yeah.
But now that we do,
everything is certain to be AMS with the.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this is really helps out with assembly and things like this, that you want a little bit of color, but also like some special diffusing, light stuff. It's nice to have an AMS for stuff like this. And these are just, these are separate individual colors. That's an individual color piece. So it really feels like there's a lot of colors that are built into one unit, but it's not. They're all kind of separate. Good stuff.
I say the same route with the front case of this, since it's just the grid. The grid part, what's extruded backwards to allow you to easily paint inside of Bamboo Studio each color. And then if not, you can just go in there with a paintbrush and be able to paint everything out. So it'll still work on the single extruder printer.
There you go. Good. All right, let's get to the last part of the show where we take a look at some. We got a question here from Omri Makes.
No, just a comment on your case. They want to use it for some Nixie tubes.
Ooh, that sounds cool. Yeah, Nixie tubes are really cool. They have that same kind of like segment look, I think, if I remember correctly. Okay.
All right, let's jump into the rest of the community makes.
Yeah, community makes. There we go. All right, so let's take a look. First one up is a remake, or rather a make of the... No, it is a remix. It's the remix of the USB corded key set that we did a little bit ago. This was posted by Ewin on printables.com. It says, it's a simple remix of Adafruit's Eaglebart's keyset model to use the Pro Micro instead of Cutie Pie RP2040. So they just made it so that it can fit a different board, which is awesome. Very good. Well, I know a lot of folks have the Pro Micros just sitting around, and this is a cool modular enclosure. And we definitely pride ourselves on making all our enclosures modular. And this is a good use of that, where you can just print out the one bit that you want and make it fit a different thing. Very cool. Next up, we have a remake of our iPad mini 4th and 5th gen enclosure. This one has like a hood. It says, I use this to make your iPad easier to see in bright sunlight. So it's got this really nice kind of hood that's been added on to the main bumper part of the iPad mini, which is really cool. And we did this in 2019. Yeah.
And I have to update this design. I have a good reason now with the they discontinued support for the M1 iPads. Definitely iOS 27.
Yeah. Yeah, our original one, I think, had loops so that you can like. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you made this one. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool because now you can like have it on a lanyard or kind of like a satchel.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Definitely be helpful for the people we see out and about using their iPads as cameras.
Right. Yeah. Very good. So shout out to Infern 01555 for their remake. We also have another remake. It's just a bunch of remakes now. It's which is great. This one's by I think Ian Gurr on printables. It's a remake of the original Feather case, but this one's designed for the RP2040 Radio Fruit. So you have an antenna spot for the antenna in the enclosure. You got the radio feather in there, and I think that's mainly it. Yeah. But it's like our kind of classic feather box enclosure we did quite a few years ago. So I shout out to them for posting that up. And then next up, we have a make, not a remix, just a make from Coast Space Girl on printables. They posted a make of the Star Fragment lamp that was inspired, I think, by Animal Crossing and some other Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So Coast Space Girl put theirs together. And they said, it prints support free, easy to assemble. The parts snap fit real nicely on a calibrated printer, so no glued is required. I simply used fairy lights instead of the smart lights. So that's an option for those who are intimidated by electronics, which is fair enough. Very good. Very cool. Looks good. And then the last one, this one's a real classic one. It's like a TPU armband that was originally designed for, I think, the Apple Watch, and then Red Feather posted their remix. And I think this is what kind of watch is this?
Samsung.
It's a Samsung smartwatch.
Yes.
Which works with the 4, 5, 6, and 7.
I was just guessing. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, there's little pins you can get.
Oh, okay. They got little pins going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we designed these before the forget what the name of the little attachments. You could buy like the OEM ones of them on I think it was just Temu, but I'm sure they're all over Amazon now.
Yeah, they're probably all over Amazon. Yeah. These things, what were they called? The
remember
buckle?
when we needed the adapter for the headphone?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we made that thing there. We also made the tool bit holder. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that still works.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have a AMS yet. We were just like printing on top of another thing to make the multicolor kind of look.
Yeah, it still works for that.
Still works. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, my bands are all using the stretchy one, and it's stretched out, so it's like all big on me. Got to like pull it back.
Yeah.
My arm now. And then...
It's good for prototyping, but I think for long term, you have your own your skin might get irritated by TPU. Who knows? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had mine for a while, and then like I just kept getting the next version of the watch like every couple years. You just kind of stick with whatever.
Oh, when they drop support.
Or
I gotta get a new one. They drop support for the Ultra One.
But cool, yeah, definitely can use a Ninja Flex or TPU to make your own watch band, especially if you want to add some texture and stuff to it. So really cool to see that. People still doing it. And those are this week's community makes. Thank you everybody for posting up your make. Very good. All right, we're almost at the 1 hour mark. We have about 10 minutes, so we might end the show early. So if anyone has additional questions, go ahead and drop us a line. Otherwise, we're going to close the show and get some lunch, as it's getting closer to lunchtime here.
I can smell food cooking. Oh, I'm so hungry now.
Nice. All right, folks. Let's see. Don't forget, we have a coupon code. It's good for the next 24 hours. 10% off your order with coupon code back-to-back. So if you want to order anything, please use your coupon code. All right. Later tonight, if all things goes well, we'll have a show and tell at 7:30 Eastern Time. Come on by the Adafruit Discord server. We'll drop a link to the StreamYard, and you can share your projects with Adafruit folks and the community. Tomorrow's Thursday. JP's workshop will live stream at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Tim will be doing this week's deep dive. Deep dive with Tim. He has 2 slots this week. It was Tuesday at 11 a.m. and then he's doing Friday, I believe, at 5 p.m. if I remember correctly. Scott is thinking to take a break.
Yes.
Yep, that's 2 p.m. Pacific time where he's at. And then Mondays, we're still doing CircuitPython weekly meetings. So if folks want to join in, come on by the Adafruit Discord server. It happens around 2 p.m. Eastern time, unless there's a holiday, a U.S. holiday on Monday. Tuesdays is JP's Product Pick of the Week, where he talks about Tim. So it's the Tim, and then JP's Product Pick of the Week starts at 4 p.m. And we're wrapped back around to Wednesdays with 3D Hangouts in the morning and then evening show and tell. Very good. I think that's it, folks. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching us live and folks watching on the archive. Really appreciate everybody. Keeping this thing going. Get some hardware every now and then. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just closing down all the tabs here. Thank you, folks, so much. If you come on by show and tell, we'll see you there. We'll be here next week, but until then, remember to make a great day. Bye, everybody.